brothers, my cousins.
There's lots of people who love you.
Exactly, you know, it's just so welcoming there, you know, my mom's family and my dad's family. So, you know, I love going there to see them.
So do you feel a strong contrast between those feelings of yours about Syria, which is all full of love because you get to see all those people who love you, who you don't get to see the rest of the time, and sort of what's out there in the news about Syria and what people in this country put out there?
Like about how the government is corrupt and violent?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a fact that the government is corrupt and violent. I mean, people there know it. It's very well known. So, but I mean, I'm just happy as long as my family stays safe, and I think it's, you know, sad how they're treating their own people. But you know, I'm happy that my relatives there are safe.
Do you feel concerned when different incidents arise? Do you have those moments of trying to reach them or having concern for their safety?
Of course. I mean, every time. Although I think the news sort of lies and exaggerates a bit. Because when I call, my mom speaks to her mom and her sisters, and they say there's nothing going on. The news is making stuff up. I mean, of course there are people who died. I'm not going to deny that.
Right.
But I mean, a lot of the time they are, you know, exaggerating and pulling things out of nothing.
Right.
And
I
she
think
said,
that was more where I was going with my question. The contrast between the love and safety that you feel when you're there and all of the sensationalism in the news here.
Well,
you see that contrast?
Yeah, I do. I don't know.
If you guys could describe people your age, one word would you use to describe people your age?
My age? I'd say open. Because, you know, every generation or, you know, group of people have their own, prejudices and biases and stuff, and even though it does get passed on to their, you know, children, with each generation that passes, it weakens. So, you know, me, while going to school, I was never, you know, given any kind of, discrimination, or no one ever bothered me because I was Muslim or Arab or anything. To other people, I was just another girl in the classroom, you know, so,
I'm really glad to hear that. Where did you go to school?
I went to first Sandpiper Shores Elementary, and then I went to Henderson, which is inside FAU. Yeah, I feel, you know, so blessed for my upbringing, where I grew up, because I know some other people, they weren't as lucky, and they did experience things like that, but you know, with each generation that passes, especially now with, you know, technology that connects people in China to people, you know, in Brazil, the world has become a more connected place. So I like to think of my generation as people who are going to unite the world even more than it is now.
Nice. Nice. Well, you make me feel optimistic. That's really, really, I appreciate that a lot.
Thank you.
All right. Can I ask 2 more questions?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay. If you had to describe your life at this moment, one word, what would it be? Here, I'll have you go first.
One word is so hard. Mothering. That would be I think, the primary focus of my life still at this moment. Did you want me to expand?
If you care to.
I feel very blessed that I've been able, through the circumstances of my life, to make that my primary focus. And even though now my kids are older, I still feel like the energy that I put into my children is still, you know, despite more than one career and all sorts of other things, it's still the thing I focus the most energy on. Because they also make me optimistic, like this young woman sitting next to me, that the future will be better.
You just pulled out the word that I was looking for.
Optimism?
Yes. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, so one word I'd use to describe my life right now, I guess, would be optimistic. You know, when you're a child, you can't do much. You know, you listen to your parents, you do your homework, but other than that, you can't really do much. But now that I'm older, you know, I feel like I can actually make a difference. I feel like I can do stuff. I'm going to college and I'm speaking to people and I'm seeing people and people come up to me all the time and ask me, you know, why do you wear the headscarf? What is it like to be a Muslim? You know, and I feel like I'm actually doing something, you know, to help make the world a better place. And hopefully I'll be getting my license soon. And I'll be older and I can do even more things. I'll get a job and, you know, I can just spread goodness in the world. I mean, so yeah, I'd say optimistic is a good word at the moment.
Okay, you too.
Lovely to hear that.
Last question. One idea to change the world. If you could have one idea to change the world, what would it be? We'll have you go first this time.
Okay, I'd say education. I think people who have had education and those who haven't, I mean, the difference in the level of thinking and the ideas that come to them completely different. I remember as far back as, you know, first grade being challenged, you know, why do you think this way? You know, what do you think about the story? Why do you think the characters in the story are like a certain way? And I was challenged at a very young age to think critically. And I think an education, you know, can do that for people all over the world and people who have unrational prejudices, you know, their minds will be open and, you know, people will be able to understand each other. So I think education is very important.
I'm going to piggyback on her answer because I specifically think that what we don't focus on in school is empathy education and relationship skills education. And I think that if kids were taught, you know, it covers everything. It covers all the violence in the world. It covers bullying. It covers, you know, the inflexibility of teachers even when they're trying to maintain a structure in the classroom that isn't necessarily a healthful environment for all of the students. I think empathy education and relationship skills development as something in the schools, because we teach kids a lot of things in school that they're never going to need to use as adults, but we don't do any emphasis on relationship skills.
Exactly. Social skills, that's very good, actually. Probably better than mine.
No, it just piggybacks on your answer. It also has to do with my professional work. It's about promoting parenting preparation, relationship skills, and empathy development as a part of the curriculum in school.
All right, you two, you can take it off. You can look at each other.
Oh my Lord, purify them from trespassing,
Wise for how young
dispel their sorrows, and change their darkness into
Very
light.
nice. You have a very young face.
Hi.
Hi. Wonderful. That's
Really
fantastic.
wonderful. Really wonderful.
How would you describe this experience?
Delightful. Really delightful. I mean, I don't love being blindfolded, but it was delightful. And now, what is your name?
I'm Layla.
Layla. Oh, I love that name. I'm Susie.
It's great to
And
meet
I don't
you.
think I would have met Layla if you hadn't brought me over with my blindfold on. So I'm delighted.
I'm enthusiastic. I love this a lot.
And it was especially helpful to my optimism to meet Layla and hear the things that she had to say. It's really nice.
Meeting people like you inspires me.
So you were then 10 years ago today.
Yes.
Yeah, so the question that I didn't get to ask you is, when you were describing your wonderful experiences at school and not ever feeling othered by your chosen attire, did that change at all after 9/11 for you? Did you have
Not
any?
at all.
None whatsoever.
No, I grew up in a very diverse school to begin with. I felt blessed for that, and I grew up with wonderful parents who you know, they just taught me so much, and